Hello everyone and welcome to Albuquerque, New Mexico, home of the Hot Air Balloon Festival and the site of tonight's showdown between the two top sides in each conference. It's New Mexico United hosting Louisville City FC. My name's Tyler Ortega, joined as always by Chris Hurst. Chris, a fantastic atmosphere here at the lab tonight, and simply put, we are in for a treat.
Yeah, this one's been one that people have been keeping an eye on, looking on the horizon, right? Second in the East, looking to take back top spot. Lou City after Charleston Battery run last night and took top spot. And New Mexico United looking for a rebound after a disappointing result on Wednesday.
Plenty to get into here tonight, so why don't we start with our players to watch, brought to you by Toyota. We're going to start off with the all-time leader in championship appearances for New Mexico United. It's number 25, Daniel Bruce, 5 goals to his tally this season, coming off goals in back-to-back matches, Chris.
Yeah, Daniel Bruce, a fan favourite, and that's as much about his attitude and effort as the goals that he scores. You know, the Brucey banger, as they call it here. And it doesn't matter whether he's playing against one centre-back, two centre-backs, three centre-backs. He just works so hard, and he's in your face, all energy all the time. The centre-backs of Lou City are going to know they've been in a game tonight.
Speaking of Lou City, our player to watch for the visitors, it is their talisman. It's Wilson Harris in his 3rd season with the club. 12 goals to his tally, the former Sporting Kansas City man.
Yeah, 12 goals, 2 assists already this season, to add to his 14 goals he scored last year for them as well. He doesn't really have a type of goal that he scores, whether it's a header, bend it in the top corner from distance, a poacher's goal. He's all over the place up front, and he's part of a very, very attacking team that New Mexico United need to be not just worried about him, but about several players.
These are 2 players that are coming off goals in their most recent championship match. Definitely 2 to keep an eye on. The 2024 New Mexico United season is presented by Sandia Resort and Casino, close to home, far from ordinary. We'll be back with lineups and kickoff.
Win on 3, 1, 2, 3, yeah.
I told the guy and he told me keep moving. I'm at the show and they told me keep grooving. If it ain't me, tell me who else gon' do it. I'ma just do it, I'ma just do it. I'm at the top of my city, I'm Tulip. Bitch said that I be the hottest improvement. Every day I see the fruits of improvement. I'ma just do it, I'ma just do it.
It's Marvel Superhero Night here at the lab, and tonight's match is presented by NM811, reminding you to call before you dig. Let's go ahead and jump into our lineups here, presented by the Somos Unidos Foundation. Starting off, Chris, here with the black and yellow, we're going to see 4 changes from Eric Quill's side from the midweek match. It's Chris Gloucester making his return from injury, Talon Maples, Zico Bailey, and Marco Micheletto.
Yeah, a more balance to the team. It looks like Gloucester on the left. Abdi Mohammed had to play on the left-hand side and didn't have his best game out there. Maples back into centre-back. Those two centre-backs there have created a great partnership. And midfield looks like a more balanced midfield as well, with Bailey and Micheletto in there.
And this is how the visitors will line up for head coach Danny Cruz. It's 3 changes from the side that coasted to a 4-1 victory over Monterey Bay last weekend. Amadou Dia, Kyle Adams, and Jansen Wilson all being inserted to the starting lineup.
Yeah, and like we said in the pre-game there, a really attacking formation. Normally play a 3-5-2. Be interesting to see whether that's a 3-4-3, but so many dangerous players all over the park for Lou City.
This is the third meeting in the history between these two sides, having each met once on each other's home turf. The home side victorious in each occasion. Most recent meeting was here, actually, just last fall. It was less than a year ago. We were here on September 30th of last year, Chris. It was a 2-0 win for the black and yellow. Harry Swartz, Nicky Hernandez on the score sheet that day. If you'll recall, that was the Nicky Hernandez mask game where he was sent off following scoring the goal.
It's memories. But I tell you what, Lou City this year, completely different beast. Always knocking around the top of the standings, but something just feels different with them this year. They're an absolute juggernaut, especially attacking wise. They can be susceptible at the back. They do give goals up, but if they're in full flight going forwards, New Mexico United's back line is going to have to be absolute on their A game.
Look, I spent the morning here watching some of the track and field events from the Olympic Games in Paris. I feel like we're in for a track meet here on the pitch tonight between these two sides. As you mentioned, Louisville, over 50 goals scored this season as they chase the championship's all-time record. We're underway from the lab here. It's New Mexico United versus Louisville City FC. So immediately, Alex Tambakis able to grab one. And so for New Mexico, Chris, looking to bounce back, coming off their first defeat here on home soil on Wednesday to Las Vegas Lights, who have been in incredible form, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, what a week for New Mexico United. You know, the derby with El Paso, followed by one of the most informed teams in the West coming to town in Las Vegas, followed by Lou City in town. Like, that is an absolutely brutal 8 days right there.
Hosu goes back to Tambakis, and Louisville City FC coming off a midweek friendly with Eintracht Frankfurt of Germany. That was on Tuesday, and so a little bit shorter rest. But as I mentioned prior to that, they took the field last Saturday against Monterey Bay and just put on an absolute clinic.
This is Lou City's 4th game in a row against Western opposition. They played Oakland Roots, and that's their one loss against West Coast opposition. If you're a glass half empty, glass half full kind of person for New Mexico United, it depends which way you look at this. Lou City 4-1-1 against the West. 3 of those wins have been in their own backyard. 1-1-1 on the road. So maybe a glimmer of hope for New Mexico United that they don't travel quite as well, but either way, again, just really dangerous. But Oakland Roots found a key to it. I'm sure New Mexico United have studied the tape on how that was done and have come up with a plan to try and execute tonight as well.
Nicoletto is looking to link up with the Scotsman Greg Hurst there on the far side as we have a look at Eric Quill. He's the 3rd head coach in club history in his first full season as the gaffer. Took over mid-season last year following the departure of Zach Prince. And since then, the lab has become an absolute fortress here, Chris. This season, New Mexico, 7 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw here on home soil.
The one worrying thing is the 1 loss and the 1 draw are now back-to-back games. So that's something that I'm sure they'll be looking to put right. And again, we keep saying the same thing over and over again. Formidable opponent tonight. But again, getting people like Gloucester back, Maples back in there as well. Micheletto, Bailey able to help out. Hosu in midfield as well.
Louisville looking to ask some questions here. Just 3 minutes in, and a shot goes in, and it's just over the crossbar of Alex Tambakis. That was Winder unleashing one.
I tell you what, that was not far away at all. It had some dip on it right at the end. It just clipped the net after it, and it just didn't quite dip in time, but it just kind of bounced out to him, and he thought, why not? Little tester early on, and you could see initially Tambakis was maybe a little worried, but then he pulled his hands away. He knew that it was going over, but a little warning shot already.
Yeah, and Elijah Winder, you look at the 21-year-old, he's already got 5 goals this season, Chris, so despite playing in somewhat of a holding midfield role, as we've seen, he's not afraid to have a pop, and we'll have a look here at Danny Cruz, his 4th season with the club. He's the youngest to coach in the championship final. He guided his team last season to a 5th place finish. As Flanagan looking to cause some problems here, and ultimately Loss able to clear it. This ball turned over. It's Daniel Bruce. Plays it forward for Flanagan. Flanagan lets one go with the left, but no problem for the keeper there, Chris.
Yeah, but I think that's going to be a theme tonight watching. You know, like you, I watched a little bit of the last couple of games for Lou City as well, and they are susceptible to, they always want to play out. They want to play the game, the inverted commas, the right way. They are susceptible to giving the ball away. If you get your triggers right and get your pressure right, you can really win the ball in good areas, and that's what happened there. Daniel Bruce able to pick off the pass. Just wasn't quite able to turn it into a really decent shot on goal there. Flanagan just lost his feet a little bit. Looks like he's maybe tweaked his ankle a little bit as well. He's walking a little gingerly right now.
That'll be something to keep an eye on. No activity over at the New Mexico United substitutes area. And he'll be put right back to the test here against the big New Zealand international. Kyle Adams, Micheletto now plays this over for Hurst. Gloucester, as we mentioned, making his return from injury, Chris. He's been missed since the July 20th match here against Birmingham Legion when he left just 20 minutes in.
Yeah, that was 20 minutes in 2 crunch and tackles on him as well. So good to see him back. Interesting to see Greg Hurst deployed on the left-hand side. Did that against El Paso Locomotive as well, and it worked out really well for them as well. So it's again, looks like Daniel Bruce is going to be charged with dealing with the centre-backs and trying to. A lot of the New Mexico United players look to play that diagonal ball into the left-hand side channel. Greg Hurst is going to be lucky to not get away if he gets away without a yellow card here.
It's a foul called, and that's going to give us time for this 5:29 game update brought to you by the Education Plan. That's New Mexico State-sponsored 5:29 plan. Give your kids a better and brighter future. Learn more at theeducationplan.com. So a Fiesta Auto free kick here for Sean Tosh. Tosh, the veteran, he's been with Lou City since 2017, almost 300 professional appearances. That is somebody who has done a lot, seen a lot, Chris.
Yeah, and you're seeing that a lot more. You know, the balance in the teams in the USL Championship are like that. There's a crop of young players coming through, and there's such a vast, so many players with a vast amount of experience as well. So again, Lou City showing there that they've got the balance right between that as well.
Brief pause allows us to have a look at our keys to the game, brought to you by the Garcia Automotive Group. For New Mexico United, set the pace early, get back on track, and utilize home field advantage. Now, Louisville City, they're a club who are also used to playing in front of very large crowds, Chris, as these are the top 2 ranking clubs in average attendance in the USL Championship as well. And so these players not easily rattled.
No, and I was telling you pre-game, it was saw a couple of purple jerseys walking around as well. So I don't know if that's residents here now and originally from Kentucky, or whether they travelled out here for the game. But it was good to see some away fans as well.
Wilson Harris trying to win the throw-in. It's awarded to New Mexico. Harris, as we mentioned, 12 goals to his name as New Mexico look to break. Here comes Gloucester as he has a go. Punched away by Loss. Micheletto, and his shot deflects off Daniel Bruce.
Daniel Bruce was caught in 2 minds there. He didn't know whether to try and flick it or get completely out of the way. Great drive by Gloucester. It was almost by accident. He had to win the ball, and that just kind of propels him into an attack. And that's the the balance that we talked about. The left foot, the left-footed left back just makes a huge difference, and that's maybe what New Mexico United were missing on Wednesday night.
Replays tonight brought to you by TLC Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Defend your home with TLC's service experts. That really feels like the first big chance of tonight's match.
Yeah, there was the speculative shot by Winder earlier on, but that was really well worked again. Like the drive and run from Gloucester, where if he hadn't won the ball, Louisville City were probably at Tambakis. So winning that ball, and it just put them on their back foot, and the movement of Greg Hurst as well put second guesses into defenders whether to step, whether to stay. Again, just thought why not, and he hits one, and just too hot to handle for the keeper, and the rebound pops out to Micheletto. Decent strike.
Lost this year. He's been the primary keeper for Louisville City. Starting his 20th match here this evening. Danny Fondes with one start to his name this season. Here's Hosu, the Ivory Coast native. Looking to switch the play. Here's Hurst. Connects with Flanagan. Ultimately, it falls to Muhammad. His cross cut out there by Kyle Adams. So Talon Maples, Chris, back in the starting lineup tonight. He was a second half sub as the offside flag goes up here on Greg Hurst. Didn't start for the first time this season on Wednesday night following the birth of his first child. So you know, New Mexico United fans very excited to have him back as we have a quick look at our Ben Sherman Law injury report. But Talon Maples going into Wednesday night, he was the only player to have played every single minute for the club this season.
And while, you know, life happens, I'm sure he's absolutely gutted that he lost that record as well, you know. But again, came on in the second half. That was more because desperation, I would say. You know, he was probably due a break, especially with such a big week. And when he came on, Caelan Ryden was pushed up front. But yeah, I mean, like I say, Herbert and Maples have made a great partnership this year. That's why it's been so hard for Caelan Ryden to get back in the team.
It's a nice attempt there from Wilson Harris just a few moments ago. Gloucester going to play this forward for Bruce. He goes down looking for a whistle.
That was really good defending there by Adams. He just eased Daniel Bruce away from the ball there, and obviously with Bruce not knowing that he was necessarily that tight behind him, fell over, and the crowd don't like it. I believe it was Winder said something from midfield as well, so there's been words exchanged, but yeah, that shows, you know, he's experienced defender, no stranger to the lab either. He's been here a few times, and most notably New Mexico United fans might remember him from his Real Monarch games with Caelan Ryden.
Foul called. Daniel Bruce goes down, does get the whistle that time. So this will be a Fiesta Auto free kick for the black and yellow. Coming into tonight, Chris, on 38 points, still in first place in the Western Conference. This is the longest stretch in club history that they've been at the top of the West consecutively.
Yeah, it just feels different, right? This year it just feels different. Like I say, the home night, I think New Mexico United have always been, you know, what they were called the road warriors because they were winning so many games away from home. But this is your bread and butter right here, where you have to entertain your fans, and maybe that's something that's been missing over the first few years. And certainly at the start of this season, you know, only one loss, one tie, and they've been treated, the local fans, to some really high-level games.
Zico Bailey, first time we've said his name tonight. Nice link-up play there between Micheletto and Hurst. Here's the Scotsman. He goes down, no whistle. This ball hit long for Abdi Mohammed. Flag stays down. Mohammed low cross. Went through the legs there of Kyle Adams. Flanagan battling there with Winder. Looking for Hurst. The Scotsman unable to control it there just inside the 18.
Great play there by Flanagan. The strength to hold off two defenders. I think it was Serrano and Adams, maybe not. Actually, sorry, it was Dia and Serrano. Just hold him off. He was on his knees, and then he picks his head up and he sees the diagonal run from Hurst from the outside on the left wing there. And it's almost like Hurst was kind of surprised that the ball came in, and it came in so quick, and just couldn't bring the ball down under his control there. You can see, like, New Mexico United have a decent amount of the ball, and the way you can tell that it's going right for them right now is, one, you haven't said Harris's name very much, and how deep Serrano and Wilson are having to play on either side. It's supposed to be a front three. They're really playing very close to their back, to McFadden, and having to help out defensively a lot more than what they probably want to right now.
Here's Hosu. You mentioned Aiden McFadden. He had 2 assists in that match against Monterey Bay last weekend from almost identical spots. Just played an incredible cross into the box for their first two goals within the first 7 minutes.
Yeah, and, going back to what we talked about how dangerous this team is, last week Monterey Bay 4-1, 4 different goal scorers. 2 of those goal scorers they can afford to leave on the bench tonight. And they bring on, they bring into the team like Wilson, who's a goal scorer in his own right.
Here's Kyle Adams. Goes back to the Spaniard, Ordonez. Ordonez spent the last 2 seasons with Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Made 66 appearances. Scored 6 times. Scored 5 times last season. That's a lot for a defender there. And you speak of defenders scoring goals, look no further than Sean Tosh. He's been a goal-scoring machine here for Louisville City over the last 3 seasons. 19 goals from a defender, Chris.
Yeah, and they're just dangerous in every phase of the game, whether that be when they've got possession, in transition, set pieces. They just have a lot of the pieces that they're going to be a very, very difficult team to beat, especially when, you assume, they're going to make the playoffs, you would assume, and they're going to be a very, very tough team to play, assuming that many of their games are going to be at home as well, because that stadium is beautiful.
Yeah, Lynn Family Stadium, it is just absolutely rocking every time that you tune in. Incredible organization and club that they've built over there. As this ball turned over, here's Dia. Here's Serrano now. Cross, headed away by Gloucester. Down goes Hurst. And again, crossed in, looking for Wilson Harris just over his head. And the flag goes up from the official over on the far side. Officials tonight, we've got Brandon Stevis running the show. Darren Bandy, Zach McWhorter are the assistant referees. And the 4th official tonight is Mario Garcia. Tony Herbert, Trinidad and Tobago international from Brooklyn, New York. He was paired with Kalen Ryden for the first time this season on Wednesday night, Chris, and there's just some moments there that kind of seemed like that was the case.
Yeah, not saying it can't work, but it didn't, especially early on. I think that, and that kind of set the tone where there was an edginess, a bit of a nervousness in possession with the back line because of how bad it started, especially on the left-hand side with Kalen Ryden, Abdi Mohammed on his weak side, not being a true left footer. And it kind of set the tone there for the game. And obviously Las Vegas came in, got that early goal, had something to hang on to. You thought maybe New Mexico United could push on once they got the equalizer, but wasn't be. You got to say Las Vegas had one really big chance in the second half and they scored it.
Here's Bailey looking to fight his way through. Job well done there from Winder. Gloucester able to close down on that one. It'll go back to Alex Tambakis. "19 minutes gone by here. Tyler Ortega, Chris Hurst on hand at the lab. Welcome in. Whether you're watching it here on ESPN Plus, welcome into all of the Louisville FC supporters, Louisville City FC supporters. And if you're watching it here locally in New Mexico on Estrella TV or on KOAT Channel 7, thank you for joining us. It's Marvel Superhero Night here at the lab. Tonight's match brought to you by NM811. And a massive showdown between New Mexico United and Louisville City. Lou City in such incredible form this year, Chris. They're chasing a couple of all-time records in the championship. Most points in a season, most goals scored in a season. Both marks set by the 2019 Phoenix Rising side.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a flying start. If it was I might age myself here, but if it was a game of top trumps, Mexico United would not be winning this. Goals scored, conversion rate, shots. Even the only thing they're even on really is goals conceded.
I'm sure we've got some fans wondering what exactly the crowd is cheering for. It wasn't the replay that you were viewing. This is a tradition that takes place at every single New Mexico United match. It's called the Magic Minute, and it starts at the 19-minute, 12-second mark. That signifies when New Mexico was recognized as a state, and it's going to stop at the 20-minute, 18-second mark, and that signifies when New Mexico United were founded as a club. A free kick here from Lou City. They scored from a set piece against Monterey Bay. That time was Davila and Serrano standing over the ball. Aiden McFadden. Ball cleared out there by Maples. First 20 minutes in the books here, Chris. What have you seen from both sides so far?
It's been a really fun game. It's been a really fun game to watch. Mexico United started probably the better. Lots of possession, had a couple of decent chances. Lou City really starting to put their stamp on the game now, though.
Looking dangerous here. This ball initially headed by Maples. Down goes Hosu, and the foul called. That was called against Jensen Wilson.
And it doesn't look like necessarily Louisville City are going to maybe get in behind and get to the end line and deliver crosses. It's anytime they're in the final third, manage to get their head up, they deliver. And that's, McFadden, you already spoke about him and his assists in the last game. He's got a great right foot, just gets so much bend and whip on it. It's a delight for the forwards to be able to attack. And on this left-hand side, Serrano looks like he likes jumping in on his right foot from the left-hand side as well. So it's going to be death by a million crosses, it looks like, tonight.
This ball played into space. Dia able to track it down. Mohamed steps up, able to get a block. And a hard challenge there from Flanagan. Deemed fair by the official. Kyle Adams able to get a touch.
I like this by the referee. It's almost like he knows how big this game is, and he's just letting them play. There's been a few meaty challenges which have been pretty 50-50, I'd say, and that's one there where, if that was maybe in the middle of the park, it maybe would have been a free kick one way or the other, but just letting them play, letting them get on with it. The really obvious ones, like stopping a counter-attack and things like that, he's calling, but for the most part, letting the guys just kind of get on with it and juke it out.
Quick look at our weather conditions here this evening. It is nice and warm here in Albuquerque, and I'm sure some of the Louisville fans looking and seeing 24% humidity. That is absolutely nothing. But for us desert dwellers here, you can just kind of feel it a little bit. As tonight's match wears on, we'll see what sort of impact that has. Of course, Albuquerque, where we're sitting here, we are just shy of a mile in elevation, which some people may not know. And so we'll see what sort of impact the altitude has on the visitors as this match goes on as well, Chris.
That has to be a factor, you know, like in New Mexico United maybe need to make more of it. You know, like I know, you know, all of the Colorado teams, all of the Denver teams, they have 5,280 plastered over every single wall, every single locker room, just to remind the opposition teams like that you are at altitude, and you know, moving the ball, and that's obviously something that New Mexico United have tried to do early on. Lou City have managed to get the possession back and really start putting their stamp on the game, but early on, I feel like that'll be something that New Mexico United try and do as well. Is just move the ball, move Lou City around, try and tire them out a little bit.
USL Summer of Soccer continues on the CBS Sports Network with a rematch from the 2023 USL Championship playoffs. Detroit City shocked Players' Shield winners Pittsburgh Riverhounds SC, and they're looking for revenge. That takes place August 7th, 7 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Mountain Time on the CBS Sports Network. Here comes Lou City again. It's Serrano this time off the left foot. He's asking for a deflection, and he's going to get it, so a corner kick coming up here for Lou City.
Really dangerous on set pieces. You and I were talking pre-game, just watching the guys step on the field, Lou City step on the field. They are huge. They've got some big boys, so set piece-wise, it'll be tough to get the matchup right, but you can see there, Serrano, you can go either way, right foot, left foot, takes a shot, but New Mexico United do a good job of getting out there early to block the shot.
Ray Serrano, 6 goals for Lou City this year, as this one goes right into the hands of Alex Tambakis. Second top scorer for Lou City behind Wilson Harris. Hurst turns this ball over. It goes back to Loss. Pressure there from Daniel Bruce, just forcing Loss to boot it away. Oh, and what a touch. That was Wilson. Here's Winder now. Back to Wilson. McFadden. He's dangerous from this area. And what an opportunity for Wilson Harris.
And that is the guy that you do not want having a free header. Got away with one there. He'll be disappointed he didn't hit the target. Wide open, 12 yards out. Probably should have done better.
Wilson Harris, 12 goals as we mentioned this season. And just to put that into perspective here for New Mexico United fans, if you took Greg Hurst and Daniel Bruce, combined their goals, they have one more than Wilson Harris this season. Lou City come away with this one again, and that one turned over by Wilson.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier on as well, right? Just about how many goal scorers there are in the team. You know, like they've got 2, 4, 6, 7 players on 4 goals, 4 goals or 2 to 4 goals, and you know, just throughout the team, whether it's a defender, midfield, it doesn't matter. It's not just the attacking group, but see, there's just been a little tweak. It's like Serrano is definitely playing a little deeper now, and it looks like it's more designed than anything else. Maybe true wing backs, and he's maybe being more of that wing back, and maybe Diaz settle back into maybe a back 4 as well. So maybe a little tweak there, or maybe it's just Serrano's just getting pushed back by Flanagan and Abdi Mohammed. But it's interesting though. Let's say Lou City, New Mexico United start with almost 70% of the ball. I'd say the first 15 minutes. Lou City the last 10 minutes, I'd say they've probably had 70% of it as well. So the game is really in the balance right now.
And you're pretty spot on with those percentages there. Officially, New Mexico with 68% possession over the opening 15 minutes. Here's Herbert. Tambakis, the Greek god of saves. It's the championship's all-time saves leader coming into tonight, 586. He's had plenty of big ones for New Mexico United, as tonight he makes his 105th league appearance for the Black and Yellow. Here's Micheletto. What a ball! Forward for Flanagan, and it's Loss coming through to clear it away.
Loss had to be quick off his line there. Great goalkeeping because Flanagan was away. Great little interchange there. It's like New Mexico United maybe just lulled Lou City into a slumber there and then just broke so quickly. 1-2 touch passing in the midfield, and there was the third man run from Flanagan.
Damian Loss on loan from Austin FC. He's under contract with Los Verdes until 2027. He was MLS Next Pro's 2023 Goalkeeper of the Year, Chris, and you can see why with plays like that.
Yeah, it was interesting though. Like 5 minutes ago, there was a pass back to him that was a little short, and he looked a little unsure. Daniel Bruce got in his face a little bit, and he was a little unsure with his feet. So that will give New Mexico United a little bit of hope, but then follows it up with a huge confidence boost for not just him and his back line. And again, just reading the danger so well and so quick off his line.
Hosu connected with Greg Hurst, and his pass partially blocked. What a challenge there from Zico Bailey in the middle of the park. Bailey unleashes one, and it was going high the moment it left his foot, but a good opportunity there for the black and yellow.
Yeah, great steal by Bailey, and you could see he was almost urging his teammates to make a run for him, and he could sense Davia was right on his back, ready to try and win the ball back, so felt like he had to take the shot. And maybe a little disappointing because New Mexico United, they did have numbers. I think it was 4-on-4 for a moment there, if he could just pick the right pass.
I like the sort of matching hairstyles with the two center backs here with Ordonez and Tosh, sort of with the bleached tips, it almost looks like. Davila as he goes back to Tosh.
I'm not sure if you want me to make a comment on hairstyles. I'm not sure I'm qualified.
This ball played forward here for Serrano. Goal kick coming up here for New Mexico. So still awaiting the opening goal here. 30 minutes gone by from the lab. Tyler Ortega, Chris Hurst on hand. For New Mexico United fans, they'll be looking towards Greg Hurst and Daniel Bruce. Either one of them is the two top scorers. So Greg Hurst scored in 3 home matches so far this season, 3 out of 9. Has not scored at home, however, Chris, since May 25th. That was that match against San Antonio that New Mexico won. Winder goes down. Foul called against Zico Bailey.
So it's interesting to see the way that Lou City's dealing with. They're outnumbered in midfield, right? New Mexico United have the 3, Zico Bailey, Marco Micheletto, and Hosu. And the way that they're fixing it right now is Ordonez, the centre-back, is stepping into midfield and taking care of Micheletto, who's playing the highest of the 3 midfielders, and Diaz dropping in at left-back. And it's just really interesting to see that rotation as it goes on, something to keep an eye on as the game goes on.
Throw in here for Louisville. Flicked on, and it was Maples who got the initial touch out, only cleared away as far as Kyle Adams. Here's Dia again. A great job defensively there from Avion Flanagan. Flanagan logged 63 minutes in the midweek tie against Las Vegas Lights. He was replaced by Makwele Akale. It's going to be another Topo Chico hard seltzer corner kick here. This one played in. Maples, again, it looked like rising up initially. Here's Wilson. And no problem there for Tambakis.
There was a little deflection on the cross there. That's why Tambakis worked so hard to stop it from going out for another corner. But just as New Mexico United was stepping out there after defending, they got first contact on the ball as they were stepping out. 3 Lou City players wide open at the top of the 18-yard box. It's a late foul on Maples there from Harris.
And Wilson Harris now getting a talking to. It's Brandon Stevis, our center official here tonight. And yeah, you see there on the TLC replay, just plows through Talon Maples. Maples, as a defender, center back, 3 goals in all comps for the club this season. Scored against New York City FC 2 during the Open Cup run. As Gloucester goes down, the New Mexico bench livid. You can see.
I thought the Olympic rugby games were over already. He was rugby tackled into touch there. I believe the referee is now talking to his assistants, and I think they're helping him out there. But
we'll get another look here.
I mean, that's a foul.
You can see Eric Quill. Still with perhaps a couple more questions.
Hey, that's what assistant referees are for, right? You know, the centre referee maybe didn't have a good angle on it, and it's good for the assistant referee to speak up and tell him exactly what he saw, whether it was him or the fourth official. So that's what the team's there for.
Kyle Adams able to cut that ball out as Mohammed was looking for the run of Avion Flanagan. Abdi Mohammed back on his normal right-hand side here tonight, Chris. We saw him play on the left during the midweek, but as Gloucester makes his return, it's sort of everything back to normal here for New Mexico tonight as Hosu goes down, and a yellow card going to be shown to Harris, and he was just warned a couple minutes ago.
Yeah, that's for as much an accumulation of fouls in quick succession as what it is that, you know, for the actual foul. I think it's definitely a foul, but in its own right, maybe not a yellow card, but the fact he's had a couple now so quickly together. He just trampled all over Talon Maples not too long ago, and there wasn't standing on ceremony there, and just got right into the back of the Achilles for Hosu there, so that might be a little sore tomorrow.
That yellow card brought to you by Ferguson Law Firm. When you've been fouled, call Ferguson Law Firm. That's New Mexico's leading personal injury attorneys for over 40 years. Flanagan has seen a lot of the ball here through the opening 35 minutes, Chris. And that's kind of been becoming the norm lately for Eric Quill.
Yeah, you can just see how much more comfortable Mohammed is here on the right-hand side versus the left, which is crazy for a professional athlete to be thrown off or not as comfortable, you know, whether depending on which side of the field. It's the same game, it's the same position, but it does completely throw you off. And how much more he's getting forward now, how much more comfortable he is getting forward, it's clear to see early on in this game.
Got some score updates there for you. In the top left corner, 5 spot from Charleston last night. That sent them back to the top of the East. Detroit, Rhode Island 1-1. Another draw there between Birmingham and Hartford. It's going to be a Topo Chico hard seltzer corner kick here for New Mexico. Hello, crisp, refreshing taste. Hello, Topo Chico hard seltzer. Taken quickly. Here's Micheletto. Looking for Herbert, and very rarely do you say this, but over the head of Anthony Herbert.
I'm not surprised to see them, see New Mexico United opt for a short corner there. Again, going back to just the sheer size of Louisville City is they outmatched New Mexico United. So just slinging a ball into the box maybe isn't the best idea. So early on, trying something a little different, just didn't quite get the delivery right.
Fans, the USL Championship is on CBS Sports and ESPN platforms all season long. You can catch live matches and expert analysis every day on the CBS Sports Golazo Network and ESPN Plus. Go to USLChampionship.com for the complete USL TV listings. A throw in here for Louisville. McFadden. Bailey able to get a touch on it, but Louisville back in possession. McFadden now. He's dangerous from these areas. McFadden eventually gets one into the box. And what a save from Tambakis, but the rebound is smashed home. It's Wilson finding the back of the net for Louisville City and opening up the scoring.
Yeah, I mean, what a great save that was by Tambakis, and he's just gesturing to his back line. Unfortunately, they were standing watching and admiring the save as much as we were. Wilson was the first one to react and absolutely smashes it. I mean, McFadden creates the initial chaos, little step over, little scissor, delivers a ball, gets knocked out to the top of the box. I can't see who that's Harris who takes the initial shot. So much venom in it, and it just pops out to Wilson. And to be fair, you can see Tambakis, he tries to knock it away from danger. I think it's maybe Hosu there who's closest to be a little disappointed. Yeah, it's just right there, just pops out, and it just falls to the wrong player of New Mexico United. But again, it's another dangerous player for Louisville who's opened the scoring tonight.
For Jansen Wilson, it's his 4th goal of the season. And what a goal it is. And if you're a Louisville supporter, this is something that you love to see. Obviously, not only because you've scored a goal, but when your side gets to halftime with a lead this season, they are undefeated. And not just undefeated, they haven't drawn a game yet either.
Well, what do they say about records, right, Tyler?
Fair enough. As Ordonez heads this one away. It was Flanagan that went to ground looking for a call. Here over the last few minutes, it's been Louisville with New Mexico United pinned back in their own third, Chris. And here they come again. It's McFadden, picked up by Maples. Davila. And Tambakis there for that one.
Yeah, I think New Mexico United just need to take a breath here. It's we were saying the first 10, 15 minutes, New Mexico United asking all the questions, couple of decent chances. Since then, I can only remember the Zico Bailey speculative shot from distance. Other than that, not a whole lot in terms of trouble for loss at the back there. And just the how dynamic Lou City are with both wingers and the attacking players, the rotation of the attacking players. It's so hard to work out who's picking up who. Their movement is so dynamic as well. So finally they were able to pick the lock just by sheer volume of the chances created.
Ball goes all the way back to Zico Bailey. Bruce unable to win the ball there off of Kyle Adams. And for Jansen Wilson, an incredible story, 23 years old. He's a Kentucky native. He signed his first professional contract this offseason, Chris, after spending the last 2 summers training with the team. And here he is, 4 goals under his belt this season.
Yeah, and that's who Louisville City have got to come into the team, because he didn't start in the last game. And, we've got a player who's scored 4 and is very dangerous to step into the team. And that's the depth that they have on their squad right now. You can see there's been little flashes. You can see what New Mexico United want to do to try and create chances. They want to get the ball into Zico Bailey, Hosu, Micheletto, playing central to then pop it out wide, but 1-2 touch. But the moments to do that have been really fleeting so far.
Flanagan goes down again, and this time foul called. Flanagan has been on the receiving end of about 3 or 4 tough challenges tonight. Zico Bailey, the Philippine international. What a turn there from Bailey. couldn't link up with Micheletto. It falls to Hosu. So New Mexico will be looking for a goal here before half, Chris. Louisville, they've been pretty stout defensively here over the last few minutes. Here comes Micheletto looking to change that. What a ball for Hurst. It was just out of reach there for the Scotsman, but Bruce able to win it back. Hurst goes down. No foul. Hosu, play on. It's Flanagan. And he sends it into the crowd.
That's better from New Mexico United, though. You can see the Micheletto trying to pull the strings. It just got a little too congested in there and trying to play in such a tight little area. But then great reaction by Bruce when the initial attack falls apart and wins the ball back, manages to get the ball to Flanagan. And you can see he's just trying to work an angle on his left foot. And when he eventually does, he just can't keep the effort down.
Avion Flanagan scored it in the 50th minute against New York City FC 2 during the Open Cup. Still looking for his first USL Championship goal for New Mexico. Did have a couple of games back-to-back, Chris, in all fairness, where he forced own goals to open the scoring for the black and yellow.
Yeah, he's been unlucky with that. Like those shots, I mean, I guess they weren't on target or else it would have been given to him, but created the opportunity for himself and deflected in. And I remember then the reaction he had. It was almost like, well, why does this keep happening? He knew it wasn't going to necessarily be his name on the score sheet, but he does keep creating the chances. And you can see, Coach Quill and the staff, they keep starting him, so they like what they see as well. He's so athletic. It's just that final piece. And we talked about that midweek. We talked about it game after game. It's just getting that final piece right.
Fiasano free kick. It's Serrano sending this one in, and Tambakis there to grab it. We're into 1 minute of New Mexico Pinon Coffee stoppage time, celebrating 30 years of great coffee since '94. Herbert to Abdi Mohammed. Been involved in goals in 3 of his previous 4 appearances, has Abdi Mohammed. A couple goals and an assist. The midseason edition joined the black and yellow back in early May, initially on a 25-day contract that was then extended out through the end of the season. That is the end of the first half as New Mexico United trailing Louisville City FC. The score 1-0 here in favor of the visitors. Chris, your thoughts?
It's been a really interesting first half. Some decent chances for both teams, but the quality of Louisville City shone through, and they got their noses in front.
The visitors take the lead into the half. 1-0 your score, presented by First Financial Credit Union. We'll step aside. We'll be back with some halftime.
I was born in Farmington, New Mexico, and learned to fish here on the San Juan. Watching the seasons, the bugs, and the trout. Lunker Alley, Simone Canyon, Lower Flats, and Texas Hold'em. This place is world famous, and for good reason.
Win on 3, 1, 2, 3, yeah!
I told the guy and he told me keep moving. I'm at the show and they told me keep grooving. If it ain't me, tell me who else gon' do it. I'ma just do it, I'ma just do it. I'm at the top of my city, I'm tooling. Bitch said that I be the hottest improving. Every day I see the fruits of improvement. I'ma just do it, I'ma just do it.
This dance was born here. It became the legacy of my family. 6 hoops, many forms. Eagle, butterfly, water serpent, Mother Earth. When I dance, it brings me home.
Win on 3, 1, 2, 3, yeah.
I tell the God and he told me keep moving. I'm at the show and they told me keep grooving. If it ain't me, tell me who else gonna do it. I'ma just do it. I'ma just do it. I'm at the top of my city, I'm tooling. Bitch said that I be the hottest, improving. Every day I see the fruits of improvement. I'ma just do it. I'ma just do it.
Welcome back to the Lab. Tonight's match brought to you by NM811, reminding you to call before you dig. Halftime, it's New Mexico United trailing Louisville City FC. Thanks for joining us. Halftime brought to you by First Financial Credit Union. Let's go ahead and jump right into all of our scheduled programming here as part of our halftime segment. We've got the scores and schedules here from around the league. As we mentioned earlier, Charleston Battery putting 5 past Indy 11, leapfrogging Louisville City for that top spot in the East as people woke up this morning. Detroit, Rhode Island 1-1. Birmingham, Hartford 2-2. How about that? A 4-piece from Loudoun on Miami as they're victorious 4-1. Halftime between Memphis and El Paso, and a big Western Conference match between Switchbacks and Phoenix Rising yet to come here this evening. We'll be tuning into that one once our match finishes, Chris.
Yeah, for sure. That should be a fun one. Phoenix Rising to turn things around, actually having a decent little run of it of late.
As we have a look at our Western Conference standings here in Week 22, the black and yellow nestled atop the West, but perhaps may not be for much longer. There you see Sac Republic 3 points off. The black and yellow still have a game in hand, but as we've mentioned, Chris, they have been winless here this week and currently trailing Lou City at the half.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough ask in the second half, but it's all in their own hands. And obviously, like I said, there was plenty of chances in the first half. It's whether they can take one.
Still a couple of big-time matchups against Sac Republic yet to come this season for New Mexico. That is going to have a big impact on the standings. As we glance over to the East, there you see Louisville City. These were the standings coming into the week. So, of course, last night's result for Charleston not factored in here. But you see Tampa, Indy 11, Chris, are 4th. They're top 4 in the East. And so for Charleston to put 5 past them, that tells you the quality of the battery.
I mean, Charleston and Lou City both unbelievably attacking-wise. Obviously, Charleston beating New Mexico United early on this season as well. It's one of those things. The East is looking really, really strong this year.
And how about Rhode Island and Loudoun both hovering above that playoff line? As we move on to our news and notes, record transfer as Tormenta FC Nick Akoto has transferred to Burton Albion for a League One record feat. Also, New Mexico United's Somos Unidos Foundation have announced their 3rd annual gala on September 7th. You can find more info on that at theballnm.com. I went to the first one. It was an incredible time. I would highly recommend checking it out if you are able to. And lastly, USL Championship being represented at the Olympics. Las Vegas Lights FC's Edison Escona and Loudoun United's Riley Bidois both representing their countries in Paris in men's soccer. We'll move on to our team of the week here to close things out. There you see a couple of familiar faces for New Mexico. It's Greg Hurst and Abdi Mohammed. Aiden McFadden also getting the nod for Louisville City. Your player of the week, Stefano Pino, and Tommy Sohn from Birmingham Legion is the Week 21 Coach of the Week. More halftime coming your way as we step aside from the Lab.
The 2 most important days in your life are the day you are born and the day you find out why.
Yeah, I said what I said. I don't care. I paint the town red.
If you can survive this, it's going to make the whole story that much better.
The bright horses are broken free from the fields.
They're hungry for the women's game. They want to see women's soccer. They want to play women's soccer, and that's what we're building at the USL.
You can see it in my eyes. We want the best. And we rebounding every night. We'll settle for less.
Pain doesn't care who you are or why you hurt, but pain can be mastered if you know the way. Fight back with Tiger Balm's legendary herbal power. Trusted for over 100 years, our proven blend of camphor, menthol, and essential oils tames pain with the strength and speed of the tiger, so that you can rise above pain and get back to living. This is the way of the tiger.
It's halftime here at the Lab between top of the West, New Mexico United, and second in the East, Louisville City FC. The visitors on top by way of a Jansen Wilson 39th minute goal as he scores his fourth of the season. Halftime brought to you by First Financial. Let's go ahead and have a look at our first half highlights here, Chris, presented by Will Ferguson and Associates. Starting off first with a save from Damian Loss, and then you see the follow-up shot from Micheletto deflect off of Daniel Bruce.
Yeah, and that was we talked about it in the early on, the balance that Gloucester just driving from left back, vicious left foot shot, too hot to handle, pops out to Micheletto. That's probably who you want it popping out to as well. Daniel Bruce didn't know whether to try and flick it or get out the way. And the guy that we really talked about in pre-game, Harris, top scorer for Lou City, pot shot from distance, but you can see all of the Lou City shots that they're taking there. See, I'm calling them pot shots, but so many of them are on target, making Tambakis work. And that's eventually what's gonna crack the door later on in the half.
And there's Wilson Harris going up again. Look, it's no coincidence that you're going to see him involved in all of the Louisville City highlights here. Before we get to their goal, here's a long-range effort from Zico Bailey. New Mexico United got close a few times there in that first half, Chris.
Yeah, it's like getting in and around the 18-yard box, but not able to either find the final pass or unlock the thing. But there it is. Harris just takes that shot. So much power in it. All Tambakis can do is push it to the side, and he doesn't quite get it far enough away. And he's asking his defenders why there's not more of a reaction there. And there's Wilson to pop in, and he doesn't pop it in. He absolutely smashes in the rebound.
And what a goal there for Louisville City, as we mentioned, unbeaten this season when they're leading at halftime. A perfect 8-0-0 as Jansen Wilson celebrates. This is a look at our first half stats brought to you by Duke City Cares, your medical family. Chris, what do these numbers here tell you?
I mean, a pretty even game, I'd say. New Mexico United, from the defensive third, middle third, possession-wise, is decent. It's when they get into the final third that they become a little unstuck. And look how many shots and shots on target that Lou City have been able to generate with 34% possession. They're just clinical in the final third. And the biggest stat there is probably the XG as well. I mean, just look, I don't necessarily love that stat. You can twist stats whichever way you want, but that's how many really good chances they've created in the first half.
Plenty more action to come here with the second 45 on deck. We'll step aside. We'll be back with more action right here from Albuquerque.
Win on three. 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
I tell the God and he told me keep moving. I'm at the show and they told me keep grooving. If it ain't me, tell me who else gonna do it. I'ma just do it. I'm at the top of my city, I'm Tulip. Bitch said that I be the hottest, improved it. Every day I see the fruits of improvement. I'ma just do it.
This dance was born here. It became the legacy of my family. 6 hoops, many forms. Eagle, butterfly, water serpent, Mother Earth. When I dance, it brings me home.
Welcome back to Rio Grande Credit Union Field at Isotopes Park. Tyler Ortega here alongside Chris Hurst as Louisville City FC on top of New Mexico United 1-0 as they look for their first victory here in the 505. As we've got the second half coming up here in just a couple of minutes. It is Marvel's Superhero Night here at the Lab, Chris, and so we just saw a really cool little costume contest at half. It was, I think, about 5 or 6 different variations of Spider-Man down there. That was incredible.
Yeah, it's awesome, and obviously the kids love getting into that as well, right? I mean, the adults just as much. We might just not admit it as much, but yeah, great. These theme nights, it just adds something a little different to the game. It's not just about the game. Off the field, so much fun stuff going on as well.
Yeah, such a shame we don't have the camera up here in the broadcast booth so people could see our superhero costumes we're wearing tonight. The players back on the pitch, and so let's get back to business here with just over a minute left until we get underway with the second half, Chris. So New Mexico United looking to pick up a win for the first time in 3 matches here at home tonight, Chris. What do they have to do to turn things around here?
They have to create chances, and I think that's the main, that's probably one of the main talking points is just, there just wasn't enough. And, when you're playing against top teams like Louisville City, you have to create a number of chances before you're able to take one. I can think of 3, maybe 4 chances that they created in the first half. They're probably going to look to maybe try and create 6 to 10 and hope to take 2 of them.
Louisville City in the driver's seat with a 1-0 lead. What do they have to do to see this one out?
I mean, when you come to New Mexico and you get a 1-goal lead, you kind of get I wouldn't say the crowd's quiet because it's never quiet, but they now have something to hold on to. So expect them to see them flying into tackles, and defending their 18-yard box and making it even harder for New Mexico United to carve out those chances. But also, you know what? Next goal's the key. If New Mexico United get it, it's probably game on. Blue City get it might be game over.
Scarlet Witch taking in tonight's match. It's always cool to see the fans get so into whatever theme that is going on here at the Labs. Daniel Bruce in the center circle as we're ready to get things underway. Last time Louisville City lost a match after being up at halftime, Chris, you have to go all the way back over a calendar year ago. July 23rd of 2023, they led Birmingham Legion 1-0 at the half. They lost that match 2-1. Since then, they've gone 13 straight without losing. That is just consistency.
As Lloyd said once, so you're saying there's a chance. I guess that's what anybody who is of black and yellow persuasion is obviously hoping to buck that trend. It's New Mexico United, 3 home games ago, talking about the undefeated. But again, just a different monster this year. Louisville City are just unbelievably, I'm trying to think what the word is, but just so good at everything they do, so good defensively, and they've got the goals to show for it as well.
Hurst flicks this on to Bruce. His shot attempt blocked, asking for a handball is Micheletto. Here's Flanagan. Some early action here from the black and yellow as Flanagan goes side netting and through one of the field signs there, but promising signs for the black and yellow out of the dressing room there, Chris.
Yeah, and that's, again, very similar to the first half as well, though. New Mexico United, I feel like they started on the front foot as well, and it just kind of died after 12, 15 minutes or so, and it is just a really good opportunity. Did they test the keeper? Not really, there was a hint of handball. You can see defender does a good job of putting his hands behind his back. So, I'm sure that's what the referee was looking at. Didn't make himself any bigger. Didn't get any. You can't be You can't make your body any bigger, you know. So you've seen some huge lightning bolts off in the distance there. That's what the crowd were reacting to, if anyone heard that.
Summer monsoons, a pretty regular thing here up in the high desert. Maples and Gloucester, a bit of a miscommunication there. Fans, you can tune into ESPN2 for a USL Summer of Soccer showdown in a top-of-the-table interconference clash. Powerhouse Louisville City FC facing off against perennial playoff contender Sac Republic. That's next Saturday, August 10th, 8 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Mountain Time on ESPN2. Louisville City, no stranger to those ESPN2 games. In fact, Chris, the first time these two sides met, it was an ESPN2 matchup as Micheletto plays a ball into the box. It's headed away there by McFadden. That was a 3-1 win for Louisville City. If you recall, Paolo Di Piccolo scoring a brace in the opening 15 minutes to put the home side up. And they did not look back. Mondo Moreno scored for New Mexico that day in first half stoppage, but McLaughlin closed things out late in the second. Here's Zico Bailey.
It's a great start by New Mexico United. The second half, you can see maybe in the first half, maybe a little reluctant to sling the ball into the box, but a lot more eager to get the ball into dangerous areas and just force the defenders of Lou City to actually defend. You know, put the ball in the dangerous area, see what maybe drops as well. You don't have to play 1-2 touch all the time and try and score the perfect goal. Sling the ball in the box, see if you can get knockdowns.
Corner goes in, it's headed away. Topo Chico hard seltzer corner kick, and foul called against Avion Flanagan. Fiesta Auto free kick. With the live table, Lou City back in the driver's seat in the East. If this result holds, they'll be on 47 points, leading the Battery, who are on 46. And you've got Tampa in third on 39 points. Winder goes back to Adams and back to square one. Looking to switch the play there was Abdi Mohammed. Greg Hurst not on the same page.
Yeah, you could see what he was trying to do. He was trying to ping the ball in behind for Greg Hurst to run onto. We've seen a lot of that over the last few home games. The diagonal right-sided defense all the way out to the left-hand side, but just didn't quite get it right there, Abdi Mohammed.
So we talked about Louisville City FC pursuing the championship's all-time points record in a single season. They're looking to break. New Mexico, on the other hand, Chris, pursuing their best season in club history as well, as their previous club high 51 points. That set back in 2022. Currently on 38 points. So we're just 19 games into this season.
I mean, every season that New Mexico United's been in existence, I think having a home playoff game has been a goal. That hasn't been achieved yet. So that's obviously something that they are striving to get this year. Supporter Shield, winning the West, that would be a bonus, but definitely a home playoff game.
Here comes Serrano, and Serrano has a go and just completely misses. New Mexico now looking to counter. Here comes Marco Micheletto. Play on, says the official. Micheletto finds Hurst. Heavy touch from the Scotsman. No foul called. It's a defender down in the box. It was Ordonez. He gets back up to his feet. He looks fine.
It's a good job Serrano had his shoes tied. They would have ended up over the bar. He swung so hard. He was trying to burst the net and completely missed the ball. Sorry. And to the delight of the home crowd.
Here goes Serrano again. Flag stays down. He's got support in the middle. And the cross just out of reach of Harris. Harris asking for a foul. As we get another look here on this replay, but that's back-to-back possessions where Ray Serrano has been a problem.
Yeah, and that was a vicious ball in as well. Put in that little corridor of uncertainty in between the goalkeeper defender. Defenders terrified to touch it in case it's an own goal. And attackers just licking their lips, just wanting to get any kind of contact on it. Just couldn't quite get the connection on it, though.
Daniel Bruce went down, no foul called. He gets up a little bit of a limp. He looks to be fine here as he applies some defensive pressure. Daniel Bruce making his 131st league appearance for the Black and Yellow tonight. That is the most in club history. Bailey. Flanagan. And that one's out for a goal kick.
You see that ball in behind. I think they were trying to put Zico Bailey in behind. It was just under hits. That forced him having to turn back on his right foot, which then slowed the attack down, allowed Louisville City to get bodies behind the ball. But again, some decent little interchanges for New Mexico United.
Comes Serrano again. Lays it off to Dia. Looking back for Serrano. Hosu marking and well done defensively there. It's going to be a throw-in for Louisville.
This is starting to turn into the track meet that you mentioned at the start in the pre-game as well, that maybe this might be a track meet. It's almost like you have a turn, now we have a turn, now you have a turn, now we have a turn for both teams up and down the field.
Throw in here for Louisville. Headed away. Cleared out by Greg Hurst. Really cool tie with the Olympics and some of the track events to right here in Albuquerque. Former University of New Mexico Lobo Josh Kerr, one of the fastest 1,500-meter runners in the world. He lives and trains here in Albuquerque. In fact, a lot of his training is done right across the street from where we are here at the University of New Mexico track. As this ball goes in, and the header from Diaz just over the bar of Alex Tambakis. And Louisville looking for a second.
That was a chance, and that's the left wing back being the highest player there. Again, dangerous from so many different positions. What a ball in. It almost looks like Tambakis thinks he can get there, and then the amount of bend on it just takes it away from him. It's just asking to be headed in. Mexico United got to be careful here in possession as well.
Tambakis he was being closed down. McFadden heads it back in. Here's the goal scorer, Wilson. And a pop from deep, and that one goes just wide. It was Ordonez, the center back, having a go.
It's just Ordonez had stayed up. It's what I talked about in the first half. He's taking care, or he's stepping into midfield. Now it's actually Adams has stepped into midfield to take care of Micheletto. So one of the centre-backs is just constantly... And Louis City taking a little bit of risk, leaving their defenders just 1v1 at the back. Bruce, Hurst and Flanagan all 1v1 when the centre-back steps into midfield to take care of Marco Micheletto.
And it's typically around the 65th minute that you see Eric Quill go to his bench and bring on some offensive reinforcements. As you look at the team sheet, the substitutes, you've got Dayon Harris, Sergio Rivas, Nicky Hernandez, and Mukwele Akale, all attacking players that you can bring on.
And I think that's a huge difference from Wednesday night. You know, after the initial two subs, then it was, what can you do to change the game from the bench? And there's some pace, there's some power, there's some craft on the bench. There's something different, which I wouldn't be surprised if Coach Quill and the staff are looking that way already.
Winder spreads it to Dia, whose cross goes in, and the offside flag goes up. So back and forth they go. There's still a 1-0 match here. "35 minutes plus stoppage." We're starting to see some of the clouds looking to creep in here on the lab. Chris Bruce tried to flick that one on.
Coach Quayle there, definitely not happy there. As soon as that play happened, he was waving to his substitutes to start make change. So, like you said, it is around this time, and 60th minute. I wouldn't be surprised if we see the first of a few.
Here's Wilson. McFadden gives it back to Wilson. Cross goes in, and what a clearance there from Talon Maples as Harris was waiting to pounce.
You saw Harris's eyes, it's right in line with where we are, where the booth is for us, and you could see his eyes got big. He thought he was going to have a tap in there. Talon Maples says no, sliding full stretch, and huge block. Gives away the corner, so danger's not done yet. But look at that, you can just see how much effort he's having to put in just to get there. That was going to be a very, very dangerous situation if he didn't take care of it.
Topo Chico hard seltzer corner kick. Here's Davila. McFadden gets the initial save, and the one-handed save there from Tambakis. What a play there from the Greek goalkeeper.
What a save. That might be save of the week right there, because I think it changes direction. The initial header from Harris, someone gets a flick on it as well, and he has to adjust so quickly.
It was Winder who got the deflection, and that is why he's called the Greek god of saves. Efforts like that.
And there's just sustained pressure now from Louisville City, and this is not the area of the pitch where New Mexico United want to be if they want to try and get it. It's Lou City going for the second. They're trying to kill this game off early in the second half.
Davila to take once again. Davila, the former RGV man, is been looking there for an Olympico, Chris. This ball given away. Nicoletto does well to play this one out. Fans, eFootball 2024 is here. You can live your dream, rep your team, play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball, free to play. Download now. Down went Flanagan and Nicoletto in quick succession. You see the foul called, so a Fiesta Auto free kick coming up here for the black and yellow. Hearing that we have some upcoming substitutes here for New Mexico. Get to that in just a moment. Here's Harris. That one goes right back to Alex Tambakis. Nicoletto plays this off to Hosu and gets it right back. Nicoletto, the former captain of Columbus Crew 2, where he and Abdi Muhammad were teammates. And that ball sent well into the stands from the goal scorer, Jansen Wilson. So it looks like those substitutes we were being told about are going to take place now. And so there you see Sergio Rivas, Nicky Hernandez, and Dayon Harris all entering the match as they'll replace Avion Flanagan, Marco Nicoletto, and Daniel Bruce.
I wouldn't be surprised if this means that Greg Hurst will be deployed through the middle, which I think is the right thing. He's, top scorer for New Mexico United for a reason, and so dangerous run through the middle. It's just so hard for Daniel Bruce against two towering centre-backs to have any joy there. So it's going to be Rivas and Harris on either side of Greg Hurst and Nicky Hernandez just in the pocket, just behind him, really attacking substitutions from New Mexico United.
Those substitutions brought to you by the Somos Unidos Foundation. Positive outcomes for every New Mexican. And there you see it already. Greg Hurst, Harris out on the right, Rivas on the left. Nicky Hernandez, the former San Antonio man, his arms go up all over there on the opposing bench, and a yellow card shown to Greg Hurst here in the 63rd minute.
I think it was a late tackle, and I don't think Hurst was helped by the cries we could hear from across the field imploring the referee to do something about it. But you can see Adams definitely gets to the ball first. Hurst had already left his feet, so it was too late to pull out of it, but it doesn't look like there's any kind of injury done, so no harm, no foul. But yeah, Hurst will have to be careful with those blocking challenges that he's going to have to do, because he's going to have to do that work in trying to cover all three centre-backs.
Serrano able to turn. What a challenge there from Zico Bailey. Mexico able to escape some of the pressure. Goes Abdi Mohammed. Hernandez connects with Mohammed here. Throw in here for Louisville. 65th minute here at the Lab. It's 1-0. Visitors on top as Gloucester able to get a touch there. Cleared away by Tosh. What have you seen so far in the second half, Chris?
I think Louisville City will be disappointed not to have extended their lead. In all honesty, I think New Mexico United will be very pleased that it's still just one. And then Herbert looks like he almost went over the ball a little bit there. It was a very, very committed tackle. That's what Harris was asking for. Yeah, it's been, again, just every time Louisville come into the attacking third, they look like they could be dangerous and could score. Mexico United, huffing and puffing, but so far haven't been able to blow the house down, as it were.
Davila plays this into McFadden, gets it right back. Abdi Mohammed there to cut that ball out. Adams wins the header. Louisville still in possession. So New Mexico playing their third match in a week here tonight. They were in El Paso last Saturday, back home Wednesday, and here again tonight. So 3 really big matchups. You can throw out the records when it comes to that match against El Paso. That is a derby. And one, you have two clubs that kind of just don't like each other. And it was a big win for New Mexico down at Southwest University Park. New Mexico looking to attack here. That ball out of reach of Greg Hurst. But then you follow that up with the matchup against an informed Lights on Wednesday, who haven't lost since May, by the way. And then you follow that up with the team that's currently second, but coming into the week, they were leading the Eastern Conference. That is a tough run of 3 matches in a row. It's
an absolutely brutal week. Like I said, the emotion, more than anything, you know, New Mexico United took a huge traveling contingent down to El Paso as well. So, you know, it's just the emotion of that game. followed immediately by, again, Las Vegas. It's not the Las Vegas of last year. Definitely not, right? Like, they are a team absolutely on form. You know, maybe a few too many draws. I'm sure their fans would probably like more wins than the draws, but compared to where they were this time last year, they've made a massive, massive improvement. And then, yeah, followed up by another home game, but against the team that is just ready to just torch all the records for the whole season.
Highest scoring team in the league, over 50 goals scored, and if my math is correct, that is 53 goals scored this season. 16 of those goals coming on the road. So they bang them in at Lynn Family Stadium. It feels like every other week when we check the scores and Louisville City are playing at home, they've either won 4-1 or 5-1 or 4-0, it seems like. And that's just the culture that they've established there.
Yeah, I mean, and winning is a habit. I mean, ask New Mexico United. You know, home, it was a fortress, and it's just maybe started going a little bit, and it can go the other way as well. They need to get out of that rut as quickly as possible.
Rivas plays this out to Gloucester. Hurst unable to get there ahead of the defender. This will be a throw in here for New Mexico. There's Nicky Hernandez, second half substitute. He was on the score sheet against this Louisville side last season. Hurst needs to be careful, already on a yellow card. So he goes right through the back there of Serrano.
Yeah, like I said, that those are the tackles that he's going to end up being involved in here for the rest of the game, where he's going to have to press to try and deny Louisville City from getting up the field, and he's going to have to be really careful. There, it was just Serrano was just begging for any kind of contact so he could go down, and unfortunately Hurst was obliging there. But yeah, he does have to be really careful. But the referee already having a word with the goalkeeper there last, just letting him know that he's keeping an eye on the time.
To the 70th minute here in Albuquerque.
That's a huge bonus for New Mexico United, though. Lou City, they've had some great opportunities in the second half here, but they haven't killed the game off. New Mexico United are still hanging around. They just need that one moment of magic.
Again, we'd like to thank you all for joining us, especially for those Louisville City FC fans up late on a Saturday night, already past 10:30 there in Kentucky. We're in for a good finish between these two. Osu pulls this one back, goes to Muhammad. Still just a one-goal game. Here comes the goal scorer, Jansen Wilson, the local Kentucky product. Started his collegiate career at the University of Kentucky. Ended up finishing at Belmont University. Scored 6 goals, 5 assists in his senior year there at Belmont. A player that can not only score for himself, but create for others. Here's Winder, cross-blocked by Gloucester. Here's McFadden chasing this one down all the way to the end line, and Tambakis come out to grab that. "20 minutes. If you look up over to the New Mexico technical area near the fourth official, it looks like a substitute getting ready to come on for the black and yellow as this ball played through for Dayon Harris. Goes back to Sergio Rivas. Here's Harris. Former Tampa Bay Rowdies man. Still Harris. Hernandez now. Zico. This one looking for Hurst at the back post. Great hustle shown there from Rivas to win it back. It comes back to Rivas, touches it to Harris. The cross evades everyone, connects with Muhammad on the far side. Here's Herbert now, looking to play a ball in. Hurst just outnumbered 4 white shirts around him in the 18.
Yeah, that's a disappointing part. There was only really Hurst to aim for there, but I tell you what, that's the first time that they looked like any kind of desperation from Louisville City when they've been defending there. A little bit of sustained pressure, numerous crosses into the box, and just making them a little bit uncomfortable.
Osu. Looking for Abdi Muhammad. New Mexico have not been shut out at home this season. Looking to avoid that here tonight as Makwele Akale now will come on. We're being told that despite the number 2 being shown, we're told that Zico Bailey is actually going to make way here for Makwele Akale.
Zico Bailey's been really important, supporting Hosu, holding midfield, so a little bit of a risk there taken by the New Mexico United staff. Another attacker thrown on the field. Sergio Rivas comes central. Not a natural defensive midfielder, so he'll step higher, closer to Nicky Hernandez. Makwele Akale on this left-hand side and Harris on the left, so a bunch of pace on the field for New Mexico United right now.
To catch you up on those substitutes for Louisville City, it's Wes Sharpie, Niall McCabe, and former UNM Lobo Sam Gleedle as they come on to replace Aiden McFadden, Kyle Adams, and Wilson Harris. And immediately that's Niall McCabe getting involved in some of the action. '75th minute here at the Lab. 15 minutes plus stoppage time remain. Louisville, they're particularly dangerous when it comes to this time in the match. They've scored 13 goals in the last 15 minutes of the second half. That's the most in the USL Championship this season. It'll be New Mexico looking to score here in that same time frame here tonight. Here's Gloucester. Here's Rivas now. First on the quick turn, just unable to control it. Davila plays that one away.
No nonsense by Herbert there. That's Gleedle getting a little welcome to the game. Welcome back to New Mexico. It just went straight through him. Ball man, the whole lot. Maybe a little rush of adrenaline, trying to play a diagonal ball for Makwele to run onto, but we're not on the same page on that one.
Ross sends this one away. Gleedle gives chase. Sam Gleedle, the Englishman, 28 years old. Spent some time with Reno from 2018 to 2020, then the season in San Antonio. He's played the last couple of years out in Monterey Bay. Club he was actually victorious over last weekend. Louisville once again. Here's Winder. 5 goals this season for Elijah Winder. Gloucester now looking to counter. He's got Makwele Akale in support. The ball falls to Akale. Akale triple teamed, looking to cut it back. couldn't open a window for himself. Gets it off to Hernandez now. Great defending there from the visitors.
How many times have we seen Chris Gloucester just pick off a pass and it automatically sends him into an attack? He's just marauding forward from left back. Really good stuff tonight.
Official attendance number presented by New Mexico Mutual. 9,376 on hand here for Marvel Superhero Night at the Lab. It's been all New Mexico here over the last 15 minutes, Chris. They've had 72% of the possession, but in that time, they haven't gotten a shot off.
That's a little bit of a thing. I feel like we've talked about that before as well, right? In other games where they have so much of the ball and it's that final piece. Really struggle with those entry passes or taking shots from distance. You saw there was an opportunity earlier on for Nicky Hernandez after he just stepped on the field to hit a shot with his left foot, but chose to turn back into the defender to get it on his right foot. Just instances like that, the crosses into the box, only one player there really to attack it. And Mexico United really don't have much size on the field right now either. So they have to be a little smarter about the deliveries they do put in the box, but they need to create chances if they're going to score goals. That sounds obvious, but as if you don't test the goalkeeper, it's certainly not. The old saying, if you don't buy a lottery ticket, you're definitely not going to win.
New Mexico yet to attempt a shot here in the second half, actually. Abi Mohammed. Scored his first goal here at the Lab against Orange County a month ago to the date on July 3rd, 73rd minute off a corner. It's the second consecutive match that he scored off a corner. So another substitution here for Louisville City. It's going to be defender Jake Morris coming on to replace the goal scorer Jansen Wilson. So Louisville look to be hunkering down here, Chris, for the final 10-plus minutes.
Yeah, their back three has very much become a back five the last 5-10 minutes. So it's inviting New Mexico United, but again, they're just so dangerous with the pace and directness they have up top.
Winder battling there with Gloucester and Maples, and ultimately it's Gloucester who comes away with that one.
And Winder, he stepped out of the midfield. He's moved more to the right-hand side here as an unorthodox kind of right forward. Still plenty weapons, but they're definitely settling back into their shell, trying to hold on to what they've got.
Chance to counter here for New Mexico. Harris plays the cross in. It's sent out. Comes back to Dayon Harris. Dayon Harris came on 77th minute in the midweek tie against Lights. He replaced Jacobo Reyes. Had 8 touches. Less than 10 minutes remain. We'll have some stoppage time here. This one is Rivas showing some shifty feet and called for the foul. There is Rivas. The crowd does not agree with that call.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely won the ball. It's a fair distance away from us. The referee was right there. I think maybe cleats up. I mean, his foot definitely got on the ball. His cleats were up, but the foot was on the ball. It's an interesting one. That's why the crowd were not necessarily happy with it. If that was cleats up and over the top of the ball, it's probably looking at a card, and it would be orange. But he got all contact on the ball there. New Mexico United were off to the races there, and the referee's just there Coach Quill's just asking why he stopped a promising attack. He feared that Abdi Mohammed had been hit on the head and he thought he was staying down, so he did the right thing. No chances taken with those head injuries and stopped the game to the frustration of the New Mexico United bench, but he had to be sure.
Hearing another sub on the horizon for Louisville City. Likely at the next dead ball here. Here's Gloucester. Into the 83rd minute here at the Lab in Albuquerque. Tyler Ortega, Chris Hurst, as these two heavyweights from the East and West do battle here tonight. Louisville looking to double their lead. Here's Serrano. Serrano, he has put in quite the shift here this evening, and now we're going to see that substitution here for Louisville City. We're going to see Dylan Maris coming on to replace Elijah Winder. Dylan Maris, if you remember that name, he is the former El Paso Locomotive player. He spent 3 seasons down south from 2020 to 2022. You're also going to see a substitution here for New Mexico United. It's Kalen Ryden on to replace Tony Herbert. Kalen Ryden tonight making his 115th league appearance for the Black and Yellow.
Yeah, looks like Kalen Ryden's gone up top. He was deployed there at the end of the game against Las Vegas, so I don't want to say if it's desperation stages, whatever it might be, but you know he's definitely a centre-back by trade, but he's been deployed at centre-forward a couple of games in a row now, so I believe Coach Quill would call this the kitchen sink.
Shot attempt goes high there. It'll be a goal kick for Tambakis. Kalen Ryden, 3 goals in his New Mexico United career so far. All 3 of them coming by way of header, so he gives you a dangerous weapon when it comes to these late set pieces here, Chris. And obviously with these balls that go into the box, here he is. Very rarely do you see him playing as a midfielder. As he plays it out to that's Dayon Harris. As Harris has his cross attempt blocked. Fifth minute. Here's Hosu. Goes out to Harris once again. Harris cross into the box, looking for Ryden. And what a save there from Damian Loss, preserving the clean sheet.
Yeah, I'm not even sure Ryden got a touch on there, but just his presence just makes the defender just so much more uncomfortable. I think is that Sharpie, I think maybe, who gets the final touch. We can see an early delivery by Harris. Yeah, you see Kalen Ryden gives him a little nudge in the back for good measure as well.
Looked like it was Tosh that got the contact there for Louisville. That's exactly what we were mentioning, as you said, what Kalen Ryden brings to the table. The Norman, Oklahoma native. Here's Rivas. Ryden, the former USL Championship Cup winner with Monarchs. Ball goes back. Cleared away by Tosh. Quick throw in coming here for New Mexico. Fans can't watch the match? Turn on at SiriusXM FC 157, North America's 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access. That's on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern. Make sure to check that out. Plus, you can hear live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more, all on the SiriusXM FC 157 app. As New Mexico looking for a goal here late. What a touch there from Hosu. Foul called. Fiesta Auto free kick coming up. It's taken quickly there by Hernandez. And cleared out by Louisville.
A little hint of handball there by Caelan Ryden. I was wondering if that was going to... but you can see Lou City just getting deeper and deeper and deeper, not really offering much right now in terms of an attacking threat, really sitting in, trying to just hold on to what they've got. And they haven't killed off the game, so New Mexico United will think, you've got to think there's going to be at least 3-4 minutes of added on time, so there's going to be 5 minutes here for Lou City to hang on and try and preserve this lead.
New Mexico throwing everything they've got there at the goal of Damian Loss, and the foul called in the 18, and it's going to be a free kick here for Louisville. Well, we've got a moment. Let us tell you about Select, the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the elite leagues throughout Europe. You can visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select product specials and more. Select, the player's choice. Time running out here for the black and yellow, looking to avoid a second consecutive defeat here at home as Hosu goes down. It's Jake Morris in absolute disbelief. Morris had a rocket in the 3rd minute against Monterey Bay to open up the scoring there as he comes off the bench tonight.
Yeah, that was an absolute screamer as well. It was a deep cross by McFadden, who we talked about earlier on as well. And out of the camera shot, you just see Morris stepping onto it and just absolutely stripes it. So another dangerous attacking player.
Here's Mukwele Akale. Has one USL Championship goal this season. It came by way of free kick. There's Hernandez. Back to Rivas. Maples now. Maples plays this one in. Hernandez heads it back across, and Ryden with the header gets underneath it.
Yeah, really good head back across then. Really well played. Quelle just kind of turns in and out. His first 2-3 steps once he changes direction. So hard to handle. Ball ends up with Rivas. Good switch of play. Maples joins the attack. Floats the ball in. Nicky Hernandez tries to put it back into the danger zone. Caelan Ryden was so far out, it was always going to be really hard to test the goalkeeper. I think he was trying to flick that on to Greg Hurst, but just got the contact wrong. But again, another uneasy situation for Lou City without really being dangerous.
Into the 90th minute. Time ticking. And an errant touch there from Dayon Harris as he and Abdi Muhammad not on the same page. You said it earlier, Chris. New Mexico have to create opportunities to get back in this game. The last time they registered a shot taken was Daniel Bruce in the 46th minute. So we're officially into New Mexico Pinon Coffee stoppage time. Celebrating 30 years of great coffee since '94. 4 minutes added on here. A minimum of 4 minutes. Akale trying to dribble through some traffic. Down goes Akale. Was judged to have been out of control there. Back to Tambakis. Tambakis, he's been solid in goal this season for the black and yellow, Chris. 1.11 goals against average. And tonight, having conceded once.
Yeah, and that save he pulled off earlier on, the one-handed save early on in the second half, kept it at a one-goal game. That's when Louisville City were really pushing to try and make it 2. Really kept New Mexico United in the game.
Akale able to slip by the defender. Akale goes down a little too easily there for the officials' liking as Hosu unleashes a rocket. And Damian Loss up to the task.
I mean, someone had a shot, and it was from distance, but it had so much whip on it. It looked like it maybe caught Loss a little by surprise. It came through so quickly. You can see just his fingertips there. It wasn't as comfortable as he made it look, but that just sums up the second half. That's the first real shot on target for New Mexico United in the second half, and it was from 45 yards out.
And in that span, Louisville City, they've managed to rack up 5 shot attempts, so keeping the pressure on New Mexico all evening long. As Maples plays this forward right in on the end of this. Redirected back in.
Mexico United players are adamant that ball went out of play. It looked very, very close. Impossible to see from our angle, but
flag stays down here as Maples gets a touch over to Tambakis. 90 seconds remaining of the minimum of 4 added minutes. This falls to Serrano. Time's getting desperate here for the home side. It's been a physical game here this evening. I don't think really any surprise to see some of the emotions getting a little bit high here late in this one.
The reason why is because, I mean, Hosu gets a yellow card there. I'm assuming he said something or did something after the fact, because the initial, it wasn't a foul. It was a throw in. But when, I can't see who that is, but nothing different to what's gone on the rest of the game. That's what he gets a yellow card for. Fair enough. Then he rolls back onto the field to make sure that the game gets stopped, and I think that's the frustration. So maybe didn't see that initially, but but there was just no need. That's just Hosu just getting completely frustrated. That was just a little moment of madness there.
That yellow card brought to you by Ferguson Law Firm. When you've been fouled, call Ferguson Law Firm, New Mexico's leading personal injury attorneys for over 40 years. Hosu trying to come over and perhaps apologize, and the official said, "That's enough. You can stay over there." And so, past the minimum of 4 added minutes now, as the trainer will make their way out onto the pitch. So, brief stoppage here late. I think that might be Davila that's down, or perhaps Niall McCabe. That is McCabe. Yeah, it's in all honesty a little tough to see with those reflective numbers on the white kits. And McCabe looks to be all right.
It's fine now. Just so he can clearly use his words. Having a few of them with Hosu there.
It's the Irishman out of Dublin.
He needs to be careful here, though. He's been pretty aggressive, let's say, with his words that he's having with the referee as well. And obviously, we were talking to the referee association the other day, and at some point, the referee needs to draw a line under it and get the game back underway. And let's see how long he's going to add on.
Niall McCabe. Here's a fun fact. He's the only member of the inaugural roster to have represented Lou City in every season of their existence, thus making him the longest tenured player at one club in the league. Over 200 appearances. You can see the veteran just wasting some time as we finally get back underway here. New Mexico, perhaps with one more attempt. Who knows how much time is still remaining on the officials' watch. Mohamed heads this forward, and it's just sent away to the corner here by Louisville. And that is the full-time whistle here at the Lab. A massive victory for the visitors as they shut out the black and yellow for the first time here on home soil. Your final score, Louisville City 1, New Mexico United 0. Chris, Your thoughts?
You can tell how big a win that was. The reaction of the Louisville City bench as the final whistle went, a huge roar. You could hear it from all the way over here. Massive result for them to climb back to the top of the East.
As we get into our post-match awards here, Talon Maples is awarded as your man of the match. That is brought to you by Pepsi. Your play of the match and your save of the match are both Alex Tambakis. There's a full-time shot of Talon Maples. Let's see 8 final third entries tonight. He had the ball at his feet quite a bit. So again, your man of the match. And as we were saying, Tambakis, responsible for your play of the match, brought to you by Vara Winery and Distillery. And your save of the match brought to you by New Mexico Long-Term Services. So we'll go ahead, step aside. We'll be back to wrap things up here from the lab in Albuquerque.
Win on 3, 1, 2, 3, yeah.
I said the God and he told me keep moving. I'm at the show and they told me keep grooving. If it ain't me, tell me who else gonna do it. I'ma just do it. I'ma just do it. I'm at the top of my city, I'm Tulip. Bitch said that I be the hottest improving. Every day I see the fruits of improvement. I'ma just do it. I'ma just do it.
With more ways to win, whatever game you play, Sandia Resort Casino. Now more than ever. Close to home, far from ordinary.
Full time here at the lab. Tonight's final score presented by Duke City Cares. Louisville City 1, New Mexico United 0. It was Jansen Wilson in the 39th minute. Why don't we just go ahead and have a look at our full-time highlights here. Instead of telling you about it, let's have a look, and we'll start things off in the 39th minute. As you see, it was Wilson Harris with the initial shot, deflection, falling back to Jansen Wilson for his 4th goal of the season.
Yeah, unbelievable strike there by Harris, and Tambakis does everything he can to try and push it away from danger, but there's Wilson just lurking in the danger zone, ready for a tap-in, and if he doesn't tap it in, he absolutely smashes it.
That got the party started there for the visitors. As they kept the pressure on New Mexico, Tambakis was called into action a few times. This across to Amadou Dia on the back post.
Yeah, Dia, like there was not a free header, but a really good opportunity, and they kept asking questions, Lou City. What a save that was by Tambakis. He was unsighted, and it's Harris who has the initial contact, and then it's deflected on its way through by Weiner as well, and unbelievable reactions to tip it around the post.
The USL Championship's all-time saves leader adds a few more to his tally, and this late attempt from Nanan Hosu, that was really the most dangerous play for New Mexico in the entire second half.
Yeah, and that sums up the second half right there, what you said, and because that was a shot from 40, 45 yards out.
And this a look at our full-time stats here, Chris. Let's go ahead and break these numbers down for us.
I mean, again, it's another game where New Mexico United have dominated possession. There's no way of denying that. But look at the XG, and the way that's calculated is dangerous chances. It's not just chances, it's actual where you should potentially score a goal from. And 1.29 for Lou City with that possession just shows how efficient they were going forwards.
And so as we look ahead for these two teams, up next for Louisville City, they're back home hosting Sac Republic next Saturday. And for New Mexico, it is a trip out east as they'll be taking on Indy 11 next Sunday. Make sure to tune in and check that out. We'll be back here at the lab August 14th, August 17th. Make sure, hop on to SeatGeek, get your tickets for those matches. That's going to do it for our broadcast here tonight For everybody, a part of our crew, for Stephen Williams, our director, Chris Hurst on color, my name's Tyler Ortega. Thank you for watching.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.